What's up with it, world? It's your boy Sleepy J. You are tuned in to the Know It All Sports podcast. I'm your host, Sleepy J. This is my co-host,
Coach Rudy, and we are here ready to rock and roll live in Dallas, Texas. Cowboys got 2 dubs. Us re-establishing the fact that we're in Dallas seems to have helped.
We had to, I guess they got scared that we were not here, and they felt like,
Man, when the cat's away, the mice will play. They just weren't focused, and now that they know we in town, it puts that focus back in them, that fear or something like that.
Something like that.
Because we influence the world that much.
All right, guys. Well, we got a lot to go over today, as always, and we're going to start with
some bad news, some sad news. 4 days ago, retired NFL wide receiver Demaryius Thomas passed away at the age of 33. From what I've been hearing, family thinks that it was seizures. You know about that personally with your brother suffering through those. And you know what? It was just a shame. I was a fan of Demaryius Thomas. I wanted nothing but great things for him.
I didn't realize he had retired. I thought he was still in the league.
Yeah, I think it was just a year or two ago that he retired. He finally hung it up. And unfortunately, it's been, I'd say, about a year and a half that, from what I hear, that he's been suffering from these seizures.
Wow.
So,
yeah, I did. When I did the research, it didn't really say at the time what it was. They just said home medical issues that he had.
Well, I don't think an official autopsy had been released or autopsy report had been released yet. Yeah. I know that's what at least the family was leaking out.
Right.
From what I was coming across. And he was way with it, just 33 years old. R.I.P. Demaryius. My prayers, I've been praying for your family.
Family and friends of his, prayers to you. I'm not to say that I'm happy, but I'm glad that what it was something not like horrific. Like, it's unfortunate that he passed away, but I'm glad it wasn't like a drinking and driving accident or the fact that he overdosed.
Suicide type stuff. Yeah.
At least it was something that he couldn't have prevented, that it just kind of, when life gets you.
we do hear a lot of those other types of cases.
Yeah, and they exploit them and, whatever, and they, want to.
It's good for his family and his legacy's sake that wasn't the case. Did you see what Denver did for him?
Did not.
They started the game off with 10 players instead of, the 11.
Oh, wow.
And so they snapped the ball, whatever, and or took a penalty, and their opponent obviously did not accept the penalty.
Right.
But, yeah, they lined up with 10 men in honor of him.
That's really nice, and especially considering, he wasn't on that wasn't the last team he played for, so.
Yeah, he had left them and
at least
tried
one other
going
team
elsewhere.
Yeah.
But
at least one other team, if not two, but yeah.
Yeah, he tried to extend his career after leaving Denver. Emmanuel Sanders has, but yeah, 33 years old. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know how or why. Look, I don't know.
Bro, it's crazy for me to think obviously he's passed, but I watch these sports and we're watching kids. It's so crazy because I don't think of them as young men. I just think of them as men, probably older than me, because for the most part I've always thought football players were older than me.
Yeah, because you're seeing athletes through a fan's perspective, through a young man's perspective.
Yeah. You're not realizing most of these people are 20, 25 years old.
Yeah, see, for me, most of them are younger than me that are professionals now,
Right. Yeah, you got former players that are on that cusp right now.
Yeah, but so anyways, that was how I wanted to start off. R.I.P. Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah.
So, from that somber note, let's move on to a couple of things. First and foremost, today, Steph Curry has broken the all-time three-pointer record. He took that from Ray Allen.
Okay.
So, tip my cap to him. Good job, Steph. He's an awesome player, awesome shooter. I think if if Klay Thompson hadn't got hurt, Klay Thompson might be right on his heels because Klay Thompson's just as deadly of a shooter as him, if not deadlier.
Yeah.
But, you know, he can't do nothing about that. He's always hurt now. But Steph, good job. Like I said, tip my cap to you.
All right. Steph Curry out here.
So, look, honestly, there's a ton of basketball that we should be talking about,
Yeah.
but and I really wanted to talk about it, but to be dead honest, I am very mad about the NBA, and a lot of players have been ticking me off. So I really don't want to talk about it. And since you're not a huge basketball fan, I don't think you have a tremendous problem with that.
No, I don't.
But yeah, so when I am less mad at the NBA, we'll talk more NBA.
You'll take them off of punishment?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right now, the NBA is on timeout. That's it. Steph Curry gets his big ups, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone else sit in the corner and think about what you did to Coach Rudy.
Exactly. About hurting my feelings.
All right.
All right. So, all right, we'll progress. We'll matriculate down the line of what we have to talk about. Let's prove ourselves right.
Well, that's easy. I'm right.
All right, so we said at the beginning of the year that Josh Allen wasn't the man that everyone was hyping him up to be, and that Buffalo was going to take a turn down from what they were last year.
Yep. I remember that.
So Buffalo last year was 13-3.
Okay.
They're 7-6 right now. I'd say that's a turn down.
Yeah. Even if they went out the rest of the season,
they've doubled their losses. They started off with a good record, and after New England lost to Dallas, like we said, they would be rolling because a combination of looking at their schedule, but also looking at how well they were playing leading up to the Dallas game and in the Dallas game.
Right.
So, New England beating Buffalo helped to push Buffalo down. Buffalo not finishing the job against Tampa Bay this past weekend after their monster comeback,
right.
Really takes a toll on them.
Right.
But having those 6 losses, look, Buffalo just isn't as good as what a lot of y'all hyped them up to be.
And it's easy whenever no one's expecting anything from you. Like, when no one is looking at you, everyone's just like, oh, yeah, same old team, whatever. Because Buffalo has been that team for a little bit where no one was paying them any mind.
Look, their defense was getting better. But then also last year, New England was shuffling quarterbacks in. Cam's in. No, this guy's in. No, this guy's in. They didn't really have somebody. And then this year they got the rookie who's been very solid. He's fit into their scheme perfectly.
Right.
So that was one less team they were battling with last year. All right. So, like I said, just wanted to show y'all yet another example of how we were right and why we call ourselves the know-it-alls.
Yeah. Because I know there are a few of your family members that want to know what makes us qualified to say that we're know-it-alls, but I just told them because we know it all.
It is what it is. So that's as far as the Buffalo game, and we're going to have to touch back on that shortly. But, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Hurt.
Yeah, I was at work whenever that happened, and when I heard it, people were shocked. They ran up to me to let me know he was being carted off, which I wasn't expecting it to be like a serious injury or anything. I just probably figured he got rattled a little bit, maybe a concussion.
You don't consider concussion serious? I'm just joking with you, man.
I really don't.
I know. But obviously concussions have long-term ramifications, whatever have you. But
yeah, but when you're in a violent sport that you're in, it's territory.
No, I get it. But yeah, so it's apparently some kind of ankle sprain. Coach came out and said it's not a high ankle sprain, so he anticipates him playing this week.
Okay.
This week they do go against the Packers.
Yeah.
But they are at home. So long as he plays, I'm picking the Ravens to win against the Packers.
That's a fair. That's a fair assumption. I think the odds are tremendous if he's playing. Like he's got a good shot. Them being at home, him being the better quarterback of his backup and him. They got talented players.
They got a good coach. They're well coached. The games might not be pretty.
Yeah.
But they usually are in it.
Yeah.
And Lamar's a big reason why. I don't think that his talent would work everywhere because not everyone would maximize his abilities.
Not everyone knows what to do.
No, but right there in Baltimore,
he's in a good situation for himself.
He really is.
But yeah, that's a fair assumption. If he's playing, there's a good shot. But if you want to go Green Bay, I don't blame anybody for that either.
No, I mean, I can't. Green Bay's a solid team. Obviously, they've only lost 3 times. They've got a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback who, even though he's only won 1 Super Bowl in the
how many?
45 years he's been playing.
45.
Well, it seems like it. But, I mean, hell, might as well because either way it goes, he's only been to 1 Super Bowl and he's only won 1 Super Bowl, even though people want to talk about him being a bad man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Sounds like somebody's mad.
Nah, I'm just hating. I don't like someone to be propped up the way he has as someone who everyone should fear.
Yeah.
When he's obviously beatable. And it's happened a lot to him. So
yeah.
That's just what my gripe is. So anyways, we'll circle back around to those details in a little bit. The other part that we have to recap.
What?
I said the other part that we have to recap is 37 players last week were put on the COVID list in the NFL. 37. I mean, you and I were just talking about that last week, that as December comes and January comes, these guys are going to start falling. They're going to start missing these games.
I mean, we just talked about it on the podcast. We've talked about it in private.
Weeks.
Yeah. Well, before the season. I mean, that was part of why we didn't do the fantasy league last year, was because we didn't know what the COVID
was going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 37 players last week. And shoot, this week, man, the Browns have like 7 or 8 players.
Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, so it's hitting hard, and the question is just going to be who's next. I know the Cowboys came out a few weeks ago and said, oh, now we're 100% covered by it, and I was criticizing them for saying that. Well, they got another player that's out from the COVID with their 100% asses. But, FYI, Tony Pollard and Tyron Smith both missed last week, and Tyron started, but then he got hurt.
Right.
And Tyron's definitely out this week. Apparently re-injured same part of the body that he had a few weeks ago. And Tony Pollard, I mean, he's got a torn plantar fascia. So he really, realistically, might miss the rest of the season.
So I want to get into that part of this news because of so much, as you've pointed out, local media talks about how Tony Pollard is so much better than Zeke. And not that I want him to be hurt or injured for a long time or whatever, anything that's going to ruin his career or hurt him. But there's a small part of me that's like, it's what everyone gets for being naysayers about Zeke.
I mean, look, what did we say? You and I said, Zeke is a workhorse.
Right.
He's going to be there.
Yeah.
Injured or not, he's going to be playing.
As long as the league lets him in, he's going to be there.
Oh, yeah. And we got Pollard on that 58-yard run that he had a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's where he tore it.
Right.
And we said, what we've been saying is you don't know if this man's going to hold up if he gets more carries.
Right.
Hell, this was on his explosive play that he got injured.
Right.
And he couldn't make it out. Look, y'all can criticize Zeke all you want, but the man's out there playing.
Right.
I can't say the same about Tony Pollard.
Yeah, for me, it was just that everyone was, oh, we need to move on from him. He's overpaid and all this and that. And overpaid or not.
Well, you pay him because he's going to do what he's done.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, there's just a small part of me that's like, so everyone gets for hating on my boy. Like, again, I don't want Tony Pollard to be out. I am one that want all of my weapons playing at all times as long as they're healthy. But, again, for all those people that were just so quick to say how amazing he looked 2 weeks ago and how he's just got jets that Zeke doesn't have anymore, which I've argued with everyone saying, like, if you know Zeke's a big threat, you shut Zeke down. Tony Pollard, I'm willing to gamble on whether or not I can catch him or not, but I know Zeke's going to fucking run it down my throat if I let him do it.
Yeah, I mean, they both get hit. Zeke's going to be the one that's most likely going to power through to get that extra 1 or 2 more yards.
Right.
Than Pollard. I mean, no disrespect to Pollard. He's just smaller.
Right.
He's just smaller, not as strong. That said, they're misusing both of them. Like you and I've been saying.
You've been saying that.
They need to run Pollard to the outside, left or right, either way, more. Like that's where he excels. Zeke, you run him towards the right, he seems to go. So off the right tackle, he is at his best as far as for his longer runs.
Right.
If you're going to just run him up the gut, that's cool. But that's also when he's only getting 3, 4, 5 yards of carry.
Yeah.
If you run him to the outside, that's when he's going to have those 10, 15, 25 plus yard runs.
You know, that's another thing that was pissing me off because people were bitching about he's only getting 4.1 yards when he runs the ball. Bitch, do you know how to do math? When you do 4 times 3, how many yards is that?
That's a first down.
Yeah, I was listening to them talk about how, like, oh, he's dropped down dramatically. He's only averaging 4.1. I'm like, bitch, do you not know how to do math? Even if he's getting 3.1, guess what? If he does 4 of those, he's still going to go ahead and get a first down.
Yeah, and that's the problem people have. They don't know math. But so that's as far as that update. Last night, OBJ went off. Odell Beckham Jr., he's been playing since he got to the Rams, man. Him and Stafford are on point. Stafford dropped some great passes. Part of the reason why I'm so high on Stafford is some of those passes that he made. I don't think maybe just a couple of guys in the league or in the world can actually make those with the precision that he has. I've always been impressed by his arms, especially the last 4 years or so.
Yeah.
When I've watched more of him, he can make some things happen, and he did yesterday as the Rams beat the Cardinals.
I'm surprised by that. I did not like that.
I mean, it's part of what I expected. I expected them to split.
Yeah.
First go round, Cards got the better of them. This go round, Rams got the better of them. But Odell Beckham, he was balling, dude.
Yeah.
Now, here's the downside of it. He's on the COVID protocol list this week.
Well, ain't that a bitch?
Yeah, so the Rams, they
man,
they're losing them.
I give us 1 second.
So yeah,
We're back. Sorry about that.
But man, Odell's out with COVID.
Yeah. So he's doing more than I expected. I didn't think they were gonna utilize him as much as they've seemed to do. As we talked about COVID being an issue, it's unfortunate that he's in the protocol for that. But for me, I told you at the beginning of the season, I was really intrigued by the trade that happened for Stafford. Unfortunately, the Lambs came out on top. I I like it, but I don't. I like it for Stafford's point because I'm a Stafford fan of him as a quarterback. But as a Lambs hater, I don't appreciate them doing well.
Well, here's something for you. Speaking of people that you like, Aaron Rodgers is also injured.
Yes.
He's got some toe issue
Yeah.
that he's saying is getting worse or whatever. I don't know. I think he just wants attention personally. I mean, it very well could be a real injury. But he keeps hinting that he might not be able to keep going.
Yeah.
I think he's just kind of milking it. If he loses, that's the excuse of why. I think that's what he's setting it up for. He don't like being looked at as the bad guy.
Yeah.
And and this is yet still the same guy that told the Bears fans, "I freaking own you," only with a different word. But
that's what they were
way,
talking about all game.
he still wants people to love him. He kind of needs that. He's got a weak ego. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But that said, if his foot really is hurt, I mean, he's been playing for a long time.
Yeah.
It could be what keeps him from advancing this year.
Yeah, I mean, a few years ago it was a knee issue. He gets banged up. There's no doubt about him getting banged up, but whenever he had his knee injury, I remember telling people, because he did take a couple losses during that time, even to the Cowboys, I had told people, I was like, he's a banged up Aaron Rodgers. He's not a healthy Aaron Rodgers, which is what I typically am concerned about whenever it comes to playing him. If he's healthy, I'm not really betting against him too often. If he is...
How many times he won the Super Bowl?
Shut up about you and your damn Super Bowl.
Tell me, how many times has he been to the Super Bowl?
How many have you been?
7.
Liar.
What's your point?
So...
I never claimed I was a quarterback.
Well, anyways,
how many Super Bowls has he won?
He's been to one.
Okay, and he only won one, right? So he's been to one, he's won one.
Yes.
So why are you jocking him?
Because I've watched him stop my team in the playoffs
Okay,
twice.
so he's beat the Cowboys twice. Good for him.
That's why. That's why I don't.
But that's my point with him. What has he done to make him seem like he's invincible?
Not invincible. Not invincible.
But that's what people treat him like.
Like I said, I watched my team get screwed twice by him.
Yeah?
And that is why.
Dez catch, no catch, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's part of the refs right there.
Yeah.
I know some of the local media says, yeah, but I don't know. I think that he still would have came back and beat us, even if we would have taken the lead.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
Yeah.
If we get that call like it's supposed to, you don't know that he's going to do that.
It was, 2 years later, like, oh, that was a catch. That doesn't do me any good now, does it? Fucking assholes. I hate when they review it like so long.
I want that vindication.
Yeah, but we lost. There's no reason for us to talk about it again.
I mean, I think there is. Look at the Cowboy that got choked out. CD gets choked out, and they ignore that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have made you feel better if they would have addressed it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my point. When they pretend like their shit don't stink,
yeah,
that I have a problem with. I get it. You and a lot of people hate when they do that because, oh, a little too late now, right? Yeah. And I get that. But for me, like, look, we all know, the rest of the world knows that this is BS. Right. Own up to it. Man up. Say, yeah, our bad.
You know what really hurts is, like, it's one thing to do those calls during regular season games, but they did that shit during the playoffs. They did that shit to the Saints.
Well, shit, man. Look, okay, now it's time to get into it.
No, it's not.
All right, part of the stupid takes that I was wanting to speak on was so the Cowboys won against Washington 27-20.
Okay.
And they had a 24-0 lead, and a lot of the national media chewed out the Cowboys saying, "Oh man, pretty much you suck because you barely beat Washington by 7."
Right.
Even though the spread was less than 7, they said you barely beat Washington by 7. You blew a 24-0 lead, and you got lucky to win. Well, you had the lead the whole time. You didn't get lucky. You didn't have to come back. But at the same time, right after the Cowboy game, you had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a 24-3 lead, so 21-point lead over the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
And they blew that. Buffalo came back, tied it up, took it to overtime, even got the ball first. Now, Tampa Bay ended up scoring because Buffalo punted them the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, in that game, before the Buffalo Bills kicked the field goal to tie it to send it to overtime, they threw the ball on third down into the end zone. Even Tony Romo said, yeah, that should have been pass interference.
Right.
Which would have put the ball at the 1, which would have given them a chance to go ahead and win. Buffalo.
Right.
Okay, Buffalo wins that, and that's a 24-point loss or a 21-point lead that Tampa Bay blew. I didn't hear anybody talking about the Bucs blowing 21 points and Tom Brady not being able to score in the second half.
Yeah.
But for the Cowboys,
yeah, because they said he rallied and came back and won.
yeah, no one mentioned for the whole second half they put up 3 points.
Right.
But for the Cowboys, can you believe how bad they played?
Right.
Look, Tom Brady had 15 incomplete passes that game. Dak had 17. Now, the difference was Dak didn't need a bomb touchdown to win the game because they held up and they held on with a 7-point lead.
Right.
So he didn't have to go to overtime and throw the ball after having gotten sacked like Tom Brady did.
Right.
That almost took them out of it, and then having to get the benefit of another bad ref call to get them in position.
Right.
So that's what gets me.
But we've gone over this over and over again as far as for being a Cowboys fan or a Cowboys player, that they're going to be harsher on the judgments. They're going to be harsher on the playing.
Inconsistent.
Yeah. Like, we know, like, that's to be expected at this point. Like, there's not going to be a non-biased, fair
assessment.
Yeah.
I mean, not by most. There are by some. I do hear some commentators, but the biggest narratives that get spun from the loudest mouths, the Stephen A's, the Shannon Sharps, the ones with the biggest platforms.
Yeah.
They put these narratives out there that the Cowboys suck because they won by 7. But the Tom Brady Bucs are great because they won by 6 in overtime in a game that they also led by 21 points.
Right.
Which is just total BS.
Yeah, I mean, as I've said in previous episodes, it's so much more than just that snapshot of, because in a snapshot it either looks really close or really blown out. But if you're watching it, you can see like, no, it was actually a lot closerly contended in a lot of games. Even if it is a bigger difference in the number.
I mean, going into this game against Washington, I know a lot of the national media was trying to say why Washington was going to win, and it had a lot to do with Washington had won 4 or 5 in a row, and they're on the up, and the Cowboys are on the downslide. So look for Washington to win because they're the better team right now. They're the team playing better. And then once the Cowboys win, what was that narrative? Oh, but all you did was beat Washington. Seriously, look at their quarterback. It's Heineke. He sucks.
Right.
Oh, man, your offense, though, they didn't do anything. Like, yeah, y'all had a 24-point lead, but, man, y'all didn't do nothing. It was all your defense. Well, yeah, we should be happy that it's the defense. But, that's what burns me with it.
Right. Hold on a second.
Okay, I'll try.
All right, I'm back. And yeah, I think that it was, I don't know, it's easy to go when you're looking at these teams on, oh, so and so's winning and so and so's losing. It still comes down to who's in the game. Like, it's not like, yeah, some teams are winning, but like, who were they playing? Were they playing solid teams along the way? Who were they? Who are the opponents that they're playing? Who's actually giving them the fight back?
And it's not just that, though. You look at Washington. One of the teams that Washington beat was the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah.
I am sure that when Tampa Bay looked at their opponent that week, they're like, okay, this is nothing.
Right.
Tampa Bay wasn't giving them the same credit that they were giving Dallas week 1.
Right.
So that factors into it, too.
Yep. And as we talked about, who's banged up, who's going to be in the game that day, who's got COVID protocol that day. There's so many little factors that make that, the team as a whole is winning. But as we were talking about a few weeks ago, we talk about the Titans without their running back. How much more often are we like, are they going to win? Can they sustain what they've been doing up until this point? Like,
so one thing that a lot of people try to do is they try to implement the transitive property. If you don't remember what the transitive property is, it's the idea that if X is bigger than Y, then X has to also be bigger than Z because Y is bigger than Z, right? So it's the idea that, okay, well, the Bucks beat the Cowboys, so the Bucks should beat the Redskins or the Washington football team.
right.
But if Washington beat the Bucks, that makes them better than the Cowboys because the Bucks beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Problem with that is Cowboys beat Washington.
Right.
So in the NFL, transitive property doesn't work. But a lot of people that are talking about the NFL, that's what they try to say. Well, you beat them, so they're better than you because blah, blah, blah. It don't work that way.
Not at all. In a lot of sports, it's like that. Like, it's just, well, for football's sake, we talk about any given Sunday. That team that's been beat up all season long, all of a sudden comes out, and they not only do they win, they sometimes win big against somebody they should not have beat. Maybe it's
Jags pulled that off twice this year.
Yeah. And in boxing, you hear that stuff all the time. You hear somebody's like, oh, so-and-so is not going to be able to fight, so they got a extra person to come in that's not even worthy of being in a title match, and you got Buster Douglas. Like,
Yeah.
you have those random ass, for whatever reason, the stars lined up, and this happened, and bam. So it's hard to call it. It is hard to call it just because one person won over here, but then this person lost over there. Like, there's so many moving parts to it. You can't just easily transfer one.
No,
over
and
the other.
and that's why you got the playoffs.
Now,
well, once you get to the playoffs, it's win or go home, and it's all right. No second chance.
Now you can do that in the idea if you're saying, okay, they all been healthy up until this point. Now half their squad is out. And from here on out, you've seen them lose. You're like, yeah, that's probably not going to be a good thing transferring over because you've seen it fall at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, it can be.
I mean, yeah, like, obviously there's the whole, like, well, now, next man up, time to rally.
I mean, you saw Philadelphia win a championship with a crazy number of injuries and things like that. But, so that's why I say it can be.
Yeah.
And then what was it? The
but
Giants?
You didn't see them start taking the dive after that, though.
well, the Giants, the year that they beat the undefeated Patriots,
Yeah.
they were hurt all year, and then at the end they get their
They
players
just
right, and
right.
next thing you know, they go on this unbelievable run. But all right. So, anyways, that was what ticked me off this week. That was the stupid thing that I heard, and there was just too many of these quote unquote experts or analysts down talking the Cowboys for
Yeah.
winning a game by 7
Yeah.
and ignoring the fact that the Bucks, who only have one fewer loss than the Cowboys,
Yeah.
had to make a comeback in overtime after blowing the same type of lead that the Cowboys did.
Right.
So that just,
I think
you
it's
know, it
you know
burns
what's
me.
funny though, like, and it's only in football that they do this, is like with the wide range of how points could line up at the end of the game, whether you're winning by 4, 3, 1, 7, however the points are stacking up to where you win. Like, I don't know, do they do that in other teams, or they're just like, oh, but they
No.
gracefully pulled off a win by 4 points. I don't know. I feel like it's just a weird thing that they sit there and criticize them for
Style point every win.
Yeah.
Yeah. It. Look, I think a lot of
And
it
I don't
is.
think they do it for everyone at that. Like, oh, so and so won last minute with a field goal. Like,
I think a lot of it is people are lazy and they're looking for content, and so then they go off of that.
yeah,
But also, if you listen to these fans on Twitter, they're freaking idiots. There's a lot of people that think this way, though, man.
there's a lot of groupthink. I think a lot of people go off of. Well, I heard Shannon Sharp say this, and I agree with him because he's Shannon Sharp.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stupid things. Um, Micah Parsons went off last week. He was balling 2 sacks.
Defense was just on point in general.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but I was just saying Mike is showing that he should be more than a consideration just for the defensive rookie of the year. He should be, I think he should be in the conversation for MVP now. Like
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, I was saying defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Now I think he should be in the conversation for MVP because, quite frankly, he is a difference maker.
Yeah.
But all right, let's go on to our picks for this week. Last week, I had a horrible week. I was 7-7. You were 8-6. So that means a lot of these teams were just being stupid and not taking care of their business. So this week we both take Kansas City to beat the Chargers.
Yes.
We're both taking Vegas to beat the Browns.
Yeah.
A lot of that has to do with the Browns having so many people on COVID protocol.
Yes.
We're differing on the Patriots and Colts. I'm taking the Colts to upset the Patriots. The Colts have been balling, man. I think that they're playing really well right now, and I think Patriots are a really good team, and they're also balling. Somebody's got to win. I think the Colts are going to do it. They're at home. You're taking the Patriots. I get it,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, someone's got to lose. I mean, there's not a, at that it goes back to one of those. It's a coin flip. I wouldn't be surprised by either one of them. We've had plenty of those all season.
Oh yeah. Bills should beat the Panthers. We both got them. They're playing in Buffalo too. Panthers, man. Cam's done. You've been saying it for years. He showed flashes, but all greats can.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're done. Cards against the Lions. We're both taking the Cards, even though it is in Detroit. I would love for the Lions to win. I think it'd help Dallas a lot if the Cardinals lost.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening.
Again, it could be any given Sunday. Is that a Sunday game or Saturday game?
It's Sunday. So speaking of that, Thursday night football is Kansas City against the Chargers. Saturday you got Vegas versus the Browns and Patriots versus the Colts. Then the rest of these that I'm saying are Sunday, except for the Monday night football game that will be said at the end. We're both taking the Dolphins to beat the Jets. Dolphins have won 5 in a row. Remember last year, Dolphins did win 10 games. So it would just make sense that they got some get right in them.
Yeah.
We're both taking the Cowboys to beat the G-Men. You are taking the Washington football team to beat Philly.
Yes.
In Philly. I'm taking Philly. It's a divisional game. Flip a coin.
Yeah.
For me, part of the reason why I'm taking Philly is because Washington's quarterback issues. I know Philly has its own quarterback issues,
Yeah.
but having seen how poorly Heineke was playing this week against Dallas, and I know they're not going up against the same type of defense in Philly, I just think it's going to be hard for them. Either way, I won't be shocked. I want it to be a tie.
That would be awesome if it was a tie. I went with Washington because at first I went with Philly because I was like, oh, if this knocks them out of this situation, but they're both still in the hunt, so it doesn't really matter which one. I guess if Philly does win, that's better for us because that means that we already have we'll beat them out. Like I think we'll beat Philly out anyways.
So pretty much for the NFC East, if Dallas beats the Giants, then whoever loses between Washington and Philly is eliminated.
Right.
The other one still has a chance.
Yeah.
Dallas will face Washington the following week, so they
Right.
could eliminate them definitively at that point.
Yeah.
So that's what you're talking about.
Right. But I'm just saying if Philly does knock them out, then that's cool too.
Yeah,
Because
either way.
I think Cowboys definitely got the Phillies number. As I've said, I just don't like the way Cowboys play against Washington. They like to play hard.
So you're taking the Titans to beat the Steelers. I'm
Yeah.
taking the Steelers to have another get right game. It seems like it's every other game for them.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm taking the Steelers to beat the Titans.
I feel like the Steelers have screwed me, so that's why I went with the Titans.
I get it. I don't feel comfortable taking the Steelers. They got a horrible quarterback. They're very inconsistent. But the Titans, without having their star running back,
Yeah.
I just can't trust them.
I understand that.
Texans and Jags. I know I said I wasn't going to take the Texans all year, and I took them once already. Now it's going to be twice. Big part of that is, all right, you know what? The Jags coach, he seems to be on the outs with his assistants.
Yeah.
And with that being the case, I mean, the whole team might have given up on him.
That's really unfortunate, man. I hope that there's more to that story that's going around about him. But if that's how...
Why don't you fill them in on what the story is?
So from the story that's been relayed to me is that the head coach of the Jags decided to insult his assistant coaches by saying that he was a winner and that they needed to prove themselves to be winners to him. And
so he was telling them, all right, give me your resume because y'all are losers.
yeah.
This is what the story is anyhow.
Yeah, that's what the rumor mills are pointing out, saying that that's what's going on in their locker rooms. And he's threatened to, as soon as he finds out whoever leaked it, will be fired. So there's pretty good evidence that probably says that this was said. I'm hoping that this was not conveyed the same way that it's been portrayed to me, and that maybe there was different context to it other than just saying that his coaches are a bunch of losers.
Yeah.
But I'm also hoping that this isn't his way of saying, you know what, fuck being a professional head coach, and I'm going to just go back to what I know.
Yeah, I mean, and he might just be trying to get himself fired.
Yeah, I mean, he's already done a few things already that his organization doesn't like. So that's possible.
Yeah. So, anyways, you got the Jags this week. I got the Texans. We both take Cincy over the Broncos. San Fran over the Falcons. We're both taking the Rams over the Seahawks. Now, that one I want y'all to pay attention to. Russell Wilson looked like he had a get-right game this past week.
Yeah.
And Seattle might just be playing spoiler the rest of the time. So they are a scary team. By no means do I think there's an automatic win for the Rams.
Right.
I think this might be last-second field goal type game for the Rams. And I do like their kicker, though.
Yeah.
So you're taking the Packers over the Ravens. I already told you I'm taking the Ravens off of the idea that Lamar Jackson is playing, and it is at home. I don't think the Ravens are world beaters, but the Packers just came off of beating the Rams a couple weeks ago, and I thought that they would lose one of these two, either to the Rams or to the Ravens. And since they beat the Rams, it tells me I think they'll lose to the Ravens.
That's a fair assessment. I've already said. I wouldn't be surprised. Who is it? If Lamar plays and you got Aaron Rodgers complaining about a toe, shit, it very well plays out exactly that way.
Yeah. We're both taking the Saints to upset the Bucks. Saints already beat them once this year, and then I think they beat them twice last year, or at least once last year. But, even though this is in Tampa, I don't know, man. Tampa doesn't.
I just respect the Saints defense,
especially after their game against Dallas.
Yeah. That's honestly that's what all it come down to. I respect their defense probably a lot more than most people do, and that's why I went with them. Again, and if it plays out the other way, should you be shocked? Should you be surprised? Probably not.
And they're coming off of a bye week.
That's a big thing too.
So that works in their benefit,
Yep. Isn't Indy too?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because now we got 16 games this week.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the Sunday night football game. So it should have all eyes on it. I think the Saints, realistically, I like their chances against the Bucks. And keep this in mind. For those of you who are trying to figure out who's going to get the first round bye in the NFC.
Yeah.
Right now, you got 3 teams with 3 losses. You got the Bucks, you got the Cards, and you got which other one is it? Bucks, Cards, and Packers.
Yeah.
With 3 losses. If you have a tie of 3 or 4 teams, the tiebreaker for the first round bye is going to be whichever team has the best conference record.
Right.
Right now, the Cowboys have the best in-conference record with a 7-1 record.
Okay.
So if Dallas won out and they were a part of the tie for best record in the NFC,
yeah,
they would thus get the first round bye.
Right.
They have one more loss than these other teams. So it really would behoove them
right.
to keep on trying to get these dubs. All right, the Vikes and the Bears is Monday Night Football. Should be an awful, awful game. But we're both taking the Vikes on that.
Should be awful.
It really should. But, all right, so those are the 16 this week. We've said our piece.
Follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram at SleepyJSLEEP_E_J. You can follow Coach Rudy on Twitter at
RudyV1982. Like Jay tells you, I do tend to live tweet Sunday Night Football, Cowboy game, Thursday Night Football. So you can feel free to interact with me. If you want to call me out on anything, feel free. I will school you online.
Also, if you guys, I don't know if I told you guys recently, but please continue to like, comment, share, subscribe wherever you're listening to us. We appreciate it. Ending out this year, we got to figure out what we're going to be doing since Christmas is right around the corner. I don't know how we're going to record or what we're going to do, but nonetheless, we will figure that out and let you guys know as soon as we can. But until next time, guys, take it easy. I'm out.
Peace.